Today's episode is sponsored by the O Spa. The O Spa offers a range of treatments and activities designed to nurture your body, mind and soul. Experience the transformative power of cold water therapy, inspired by Adele's own journey of resilience and renewal. Rebalance your body and mind with the comfort and warmth of an infrared sauna, a sanctuary she discovered on her own healing path. Surrender to the healing touch of massage and understand the power of human connection and healing. Explore the ancient art of cupping therapy, a practice that has brought profound relief and relaxation. With over 20 years of spa experience behind her, she aims to provide each client with a tailored bespoke spa session and letting your journey to wellness begin here with Adele at the O Spa. You can contact Adele by email or you can contact her at this number on WhatsApp to book your healing journey. Don't forget to mention the Jim King Show for your discount and all treatments. Thank you for everyone watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You can now follow me on all my social media platforms at The Jim King Show on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you to everyone watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I'd be in the queue and I would open up like a big bowl of comfort and like make it spill. So the person that was on the till, they would have to, in the countries, they would have to actually get up out their till and go away and get the mop and pail and clean it up. While they were away, we had the keys to open up the tills, take the money and leave. I was quite good at it, so I didn't really get caught. But the first time I was remanded, Grizzly Risley, the prison.
Can you talk me through that day then when you're up at court and they were reading the charges out and you get took down to the, basically found guilty and remanded? Aye.
My legs just went like jelly. Here's the sirens going mental and I was like, I need to get out of here. So I decides to jump off the platform, run across the railway line, and they all starts following me. So run through, the next minute I'm rolling down this hill and everybody else is all rolling, all these bodies are all rolling, and I hears where I lands, I hears the helicopter above me, and like a minute a dog's right at my face and the police are shouting, don't move. I get it that people do things, right, and they're doing it because they maybe get a drug habit and all that. I never had anything of that, and people might look down at their nose and go, I mean, she done it for the money. But I done it to give me and my kids a lifestyle that I was used to.
The TikTok star herself, Laura McGovern, aka Big Olly Ching Ching, welcome to the show.
Thanks, champ.
It's an honour to have you in the studio, Laura.
It's an honour to be here.
A massive character, a crazy story. So I'll try and guide you through it, but before we get into this incredible story of yours, if you can speak me through what you've got going on in the now and the present.
Well, I'm doing TikToks. I've been doing it since 2022. I've got a wee boy, he's got autism, and that's why I went into doing TikTok, because I've been in the house quite a lot with him. Doesn't like leaving the house, so I thought jump on, do a few wee TikToks, and it just exploded for there.
It's not half exploded because you're well known.
Aye.
Everywhere you go, you get stopped, but it's good feedback mostly, isn't it?
Aye, it's good and bad. Do you know what I mean? I can't get up to my old wicked ways, what I used to do back in the day. When I'm out and about. So
that's where we're going to go with the story, because there's a lot of people that don't know your background. There's some trauma in there, there's also some funny moments, a wee bit of crime, and turning your life around, inspirational stuff. So I'll take you back now, right, to like your early memories, your first chapter.
At school.
Aye, so it could be like age 5, getting into school, or just whatever you feel comfortable speaking about.
Well, school, I was quite timid, shy. Was going through a lot of bullying in school, and I think that was due to me being so timid. And then as the years went on, getting into high school, I had to stick up for myself because it carried on. So me being bullied, I then turned into the bully myself.
What
For
age were you at
sticking
this
up for
point?
myself. Well, it started in primary school, I would say probably about primary 5 started. And it was like hiding in the toilets after school, not being able to go home, waiting till everybody goes away. And then it started to really get worse in high school because I was quite out there, the way my dress sense as well. I think a lot of lassies were jealous of me back then because I was quite trendy.
Still quite trendy.
Aye, I know. And aye, but it wasn't just the lassies, it was the boys as well, because I was a fighter. The boys wanted to square go me as well, so
How did you go on with
I would
that?
go home with a black eye, but I was making sure that they get a black eye as well. So
But it's still trauma, isn't it?
Aye.
At that young age, and you're, as you said, being bullied, and then you turn into sticking up for yourself.
yeah.
So going for there then, I know you were young, were you about 14 when you started getting involved, like drinking, drugs, the gang culture?
Yeah.
You talk me through that when that started?
14, used to dog school, go into the twin Goldbergs. We go in, get our outfit for the weekend, get our money, pick up something to sell. That would be our money for our drink and our fags and things like that. And then the weekend would come, we would all be out in a gang, fighting, drinking.
What area are we from?
Springburn,
What was the gang called?
the YS Peg. The well-known YS Peg.
Right. So, and you were right involved in that?
Aye.
So even the gang fighting?
Aye. Yeah, going to different areas. Toonhead, with the famous Blink McDonald's stays. I don't think I battered him, but
Oh, maybe you did. I'll need to speak to Ian about that one. But even that, at a young age, especially being female, so you were in with all the guys.
aye.
Was there ever any like serious violence at that young age with like the gang fighting stuff?
No, not really. It was just a case of like fling a bottle and run away sort of a thing. Do you know what I mean? They'd be at one end and we'd be at the other.
That's kind of old school. That's what it was.
Aye.
It's like chasing and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and other gangs get to hear about it, and it gets back to the school and stuff.
Yeah.
So moving on for there, right? When did you start? I know a lot of people know this about you, a prolific shoplifter.
Yeah.
So when did that start then, at a young age?
Well, at 14, and then it was noon again, dog in school, and then it was a case of, right, I can make some serious money here. And it was for maybe one day, it was going into 3 days, and then it was going into 4 days, and then it was just became a full-time job.
How much like, sort of stuff were you stealing? Like, how big did it become like an operation?
Aye. It's like maybe 5 years, go out, travel, doing London, up to Aberdeen, also went abroad as well.
What sort of stuff were you stealing then?
Designer stuff. Anything basically. One point it was tellies, Jeeps. People were putting in their orders.
Right.
So
So it was a gang about 4 or
Aye.
5 years.
yeah,
And it escalated to going abroad as
Aye.
well.
yeah.
And how did that work out?
That was took to another level. That was till dipping.
So what is till dipping? Obviously it speaks for itself, but how did that work?
We would travel abroad, go into the big supermarkets, and I would be in the queue. So there was other people there. I'd be in the queue, and I would open up like a big bottle of comfort, and like make it spill. So the person that was on the till, they would have to, in the countries, they would have to actually get up out their till and go away and get the mop and pail and clean it up. While they were away, we had the keys to open up the tills, take the money, and leave.
Was this in Spain?
Portugal, Germany, Or different places.
Did you ever get caught abroad, or did you always get away with it?
Always get away with it.
That's crazy. I know there was an instant. What age are you at this point? You're only 25 or something like that?
That was, at that point, I was only 18, 19.
So still young, still a teenager.
Yep, because I had my first kid yet.
When did it escalate into, was it down south? When was it you were first caught?
I was quite good at it, so I didn't really get caught. But the first time I was remanded, Grizzly Risley, the prison. It was a man's jail and a women's jail. It was split in half.
Right.
That's the first time I've ever been in prison, and the last time.
You remanded?
Remanded, for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, first time. I'm sure you told me you were pregnant at the time as well.
7 months pregnant.
7 months pregnant, and then remanded.
Yeah.
That must have been some feeling going through the emotions.
Yeah.
How did you get caught then? What was the story? Is that the story you were telling me you were getting chased?
No, that's a different one.
We'll move on to that after that.
That one was, we were travelling about different, like we're going to York, different places. And we ended up in Bolton, Wigan. And we'd already got stuff in the motor. We're travelling to different areas. And we went into the shop and they followed us back to the motor. And caught us, obviously. And basically that was it.
And that was in Bolton?
Yeah.
So you were spent the night in the cells or a couple of days in the cells up to court?
I think we'd done a weekender and then to court.
Did you think you were going to get remanded?
No. So they've got different laws down there. So when we get the jail down there, it was up here at shoplifting down there, it's organised crime because you've organised to go down, breaking and entry, trespassing. There's all sorts of...
Right. So can you talk me through that day then when you're up at court and they were reading the charges out and you get took down to basically found guilty and remanded?
Aye. My legs just went like jelly. I'm like, I'm going home to pay my council tax and everything now. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. That's it, I'm done. And that was when I was done. I was like, I can't do this.
What was your experience when you were going to the prison then? Obviously your first time in, especially down south.
Totally different, because I've obviously got people that have been in the jails up here, the women's jails, and we were exchanging stories, and I was telling them about my experience in there, they were like, and the stories that the lassies were saying in there, what they were in for, and I'm like, I was expecting, they were telling us to expect 5 years. Right, and I was like, but for shoplifting? It's like, kidding me on, up the road you've get 6 months or 3 months or even community service.
The charges are organised crime.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So the 3 weeks, did that go okay for you, or was there any incidents, or did you see anything that...
Well, we were in with obviously lassies that were in for murder and arson, and I was like, I need to go here, they're telling us the stories, and I was like, this is a big scary world now.
Was Big Mag Saney in there? Or was that...
No.
She was a Scottish.
She was a Scottish.
That's right.
Aye.
So, obviously being pregnant, so when you get out of there then, so you were released after 3 weeks?
Aye.
Bailed?
Bailed. Told to go back down. Went back down. The other ones took the blame and let me go, obviously because I was pregnant. So they took the rap for it, and I got away scot-free.
Not like you, Laura.
No, I know. So I have been quite lucky for the amount of years that I'd been doing it. I've actually only been in prison once. I think I've been in a cell for it maybe 3 or 4 times in all the years of doing it.
See, when you were released then, did you stick to your word about changing your ways and stuff like that? And
not.
back up to your old tricks again?
Yeah.
Back in Scotland?
Yeah.
Same thing, shoplifting?
Mm-hmm.
No caught then?
No.
Again, big operation?
Aye.
You want to give me any more details now? You're not giving much away there, Laura. Was there a groupies again?
Aye.
Must have been some money getting made in that.
Exactly. And then I decided to go solo myself. That was a laugh. Try to get out the door with 4 bags at one time. I was kicking them out the door. Honest, that's when the weight training came in handy.
I used to do a wee bit of shoplifting myself. It was never on that scale, but I was only about 10, and knew I couldn't ever dream it. I think my bottle would crash. Even go through security in the airport and I've not got anything on me, I still feel paranoid.
Aye.
Just in case somebody's put something in my bag. But even walking out a shop now, I don't think I could.
See, we doing it that amount of years, I do still struggle with it because I go, right, I'm not really that wealthy now, and I go, I could actually get that for nothing. So it's always with you. It never leaves you.
Do you think the bad karma catches up with you by doing things like that? Or?
Aye.
Because it is easy just to take it, isn't it?
Yeah. And you think you're invisible as well. I was walking into shops and I thought I actually owned a shop. You know?
Just clearing it out. For some lassie. So I know you did change your ways and you met someone. It's crazy because your story, it's like a roller coaster. It just goes round and round and up and down. Yeah. But you met someone who was Muslim. I think you were aging about 30, was that?
I'd already previously had 2 partners before that.
Right.
And married before that. See, I've been married 3 times. I like wedding cake. So
and I like that one quiet.
I like a good party.
3 times?
3 times, aye.
You never told me that one. There you go. So what was that like then? The first, was it, you were married twice before?
Once before I met the Muslim.
What was the first marriage like then?
He was a bodybuilder, door steward. A lovely guy, but he passed away.
Right.
And before that, that was my first child's dad. I wasn't married to him. He passed away as well. So 2 of my partners have passed away.
Sorry to hear that, Laura. Didn't have an insurance policy out, did you?
No.
We shouldn't laugh. But so we're moving on for there. So you met the Muslim guy, and you actually converted to Islam.
Converted to Muslim, aye.
That's crazy. What was that experience like then? Was that a better time in your life?
Aye, it was very peaceful. So it was. And the fact that I had money, I had an easy life and didn't need to shoplift.
Been against your religion there.
I know.
So what was that like? But if you're converting, is it so different? Like their beliefs, their way of life?
It was, see, I was brought up as a Catholic. I'm not a practicing Catholic, but my family are Catholics. So it was like sort of a similar to that in a way. But at the beginning, when I met him, he wasn't really practicing his religion, so he was having a drink and things like that. It was more relaxed. But when I had my wee girl, his religion kicked in, and then I had to actually do the fasting, and eat halal, dress respectable, cover myself up. So
were you wearing the outfits and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Have you got any photos of that? Because I'd like to see them.
Mine was designer. Mine wasn't the Paisley pattern and all that.
Right. I'd like to see you in that. I don't know what they're called. Is that a sari? Something like that?
Hijab. The hijab and that, aye.
Right. So, no, I'm definitely, I need to see their photos.
Yeah.
How long were you in that relationship for?
No, I've got menopause, so you've got to... Years. I was in that relationship for years. I can't even exactly how long.
Is that one of your happier relationships?
Yeah.
So when that ended, you went back to your old ways after that?
Yeah. Straight right in, yeah.
Did you?
Because I'd went for living a comfortable life to walking away with my head up and no going through any divorce, I went half the house. I just walked away and that was it. So I'm one of the women what's mine is mine. And I had nothing. So it was easy enough to just walk away with nothing.
And just get right back into the shoplifting again. Was that again solo or did you develop a wee group?
A bit of mix. Doing it myself. And
how long did that last for? Another few years?
Yep.
Did you ever get caught in between that?
No.
No? Professionals?
Yeah.
And then you started getting into the boxing. Did you
Aye.
meet your next partner was a boxing coach?
Aye.
And then that ended up again a bit traumatic for you.
Aye.
Hard time in your life.
Yeah.
A lot of domestic abuse there.
Mentally and physical.
How long before it started? Like, how long was you together? Because usually the first few months are...
No, this happened the first week of being with him.
Right.
Went on holiday, and on the holiday he attacked me. We came back and it was, oh, I'm sorry, and let's get engaged. And I'm like, so the signs were there at the beginning.
You have the blinkers on, like
Yeah.
love for...
No, I wasn't in love. I think at the time I was like, just try something different. And there wasn't any really attraction to him. And everybody was saying, but don't go for the good looking guys. He wasn't really a good looking guy, right? So I was like trying to see by that. And he didn't really have anything going for him. So I should have stood up and walked away.
And how long were you in that relationship?
3 years.
Just continued for all that time?
The full time. Controlling, telling me what to wear, who to talk to, couldn't see my family.
Traumatic, isn't it? So how did you manage to get away for that?
My wedding night. Married 9 days. 9 days I was married for.
Just you told me a story that you were basically battered on your wedding night.
Yeah.
Can you talk me through that? Is that all right?
Aye, no, I'm fine with that. Well, found out later on, but on the wedding day, I didn't want to get married. And everybody's saying, just pull out it, it's not too late. Stupid me went ahead with it. Obviously because my wee boy, he was only 3 months at the time, and I'm thinking, I can't do this again. I'm getting older. I need to just try for my wee boy's sake and settle down. And that night, when we were in the hotel, he was sneaking away. But he was sneaking away and going with one of the wee boys that he was coaching's mother.
On your wedding night?
On my wedding night. And I later found out that they were actually with each other all the time.
And how did the assault come about then?
I decided, because he was disappearing, I decided to leave and go home. And he followed round, and we went round and had an argument, and that's when he attacked me. Again.
So after that, that's when you knew it's time to leave now?
Aye.
How did you manage to get away? Did you need to get, like, is it restraining orders or something like that?
Aye, we had to get restraining orders. Went through court. It was in the papers. It was horrendous. I mean, I would phone my sisters up and they were like, go to the hospital, big lumps coming out my forehead. And between, see, he was a boxing coach, and he done boxing himself. So he knew how to places to hit me where you couldn't see it. And he used to stone in my toes so that I couldn't get away from him. That's a trick in the boxing. When they're actually going in to have a fight, try and stone in their toes, they can't get away.
It's horrific, isn't it? I bet he wouldn't fight with you now.
No.
So, how long did it take you for to totally get rid of that relationship then?
Still trying to do it now. Still clinging on, trying to be part of my life through my wee boy.
Was that your second marriage?
That was my third marriage.
That was your third? Can't keep up with you.
I know.
Run
Can't keep up with myself.
So when that finished then, right? Before you met your new partner, what was the gap between that?
5 years. I was single for 5 years.
And in that 5 year, what was your life like then? Was it a lot happier? Did you get back to doing any crime or anything like that?
That's when I got into bodybuilding. So just having a peaceful, quiet life.
And training, because you're looking, you're in great shape, especially for your age. We'll not say it in front of
Oh, I
the
don't mind.
camera, right? 42,
I wish.
Cam, the production team there said.
I wish.
You look younger than me, but that's not a compliment, man, because I'm fucked. But, so 5 years, right, was back again, like doing the shoplifting,
Yep.
just to
Yep.
survive, really,
Aye.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on in the story, right, to when you met your other partner in lockdown, in about 2020, is that right?
Yeah.
I'd like to take you back, 'cause you told me a story when you were getting chased.
Aye.
Was that down south?
No, it was in Falkirk.
Tell me that one, because that was a cracker.
So there was about 5 of us, and we were all shoplifting. We get back to the car. I notices these 2 guys following me down the street, so I just kept on walking to the motor. I was like, just get in the motor, drive away. So that's what we done. Jumped in the motor, and the lassie that was driving at the time, we're on the main road. This Polish jumps out. Stop! So she swerves. The Polish drives like a maniac. We got up to the train station, parks the car. Bear in mind, this motor's jam-packed with stuff. And we got up to the railway station. We all jumps out. We go on the platform. We're thinking, right, we'll just stand here, kid, on that we're waiting on a train. Here's the sirens going mental, and I was like, I need to get out of here. So I decides to jump off the platform, run across the railway line, and they all starts following me. Everybody on the platform's looking at us like, what the hell are they doing? And I've got across, and I see us doo-doo, and it's the train just nearly just missed us. So I've looked back, and I've just continuously running, but I didn't know where you get to the bushes. It was a big drop. So running through, the next minute I'm rolling down this hill, and everybody else is all rolling. All these bodies are all rolling, and I hears where I lands. I hears the helicopter above me, and like a minute, a dog's right at my face, and the police are shouting, "Don't move!" I'm terrified of dogs, and I was like, I'm not moving. I hears the other lassie screaming, "Ah!" When she eventually gets up, she's all cut with the branches and all that. She's all faces all wide opened. I looks further down. The guys have rolled all the way down to the bottom, and I sees them. They're getting through our bonnets with the police. I was like, you think we've done a robbery? It's only shoplifting. Do you know what I mean?
Is that a robbery?
Yeah.
So everybody was caught in?
Aye, we were all caught.
And
again, in a weekend.
Scottish law this time, so it was a bit more lenient.
But the guys found out that when we go to the police station, the guys had then went in and said, like, the illnesses and all that, they were in the hospital all weekend in a nice comfy bed, and the 2 women were lying in a cell sweating it out.
Obviously, the shoplifting stories, they're never ending. But if you can give me some highlights, like the most notorious things that you were up to.
Well, this is a wee funny one. So we're driving down. There's a big convention going on down in England, and we were trying to get booked into a hotel. Couldn't get booked in anywhere. So eventually found one. Bear in mind, there's 5 women in a car, right? 4 of them were steaming. I was the driver, and we get to this hotel. I've like, right, you stay in the car because they're all pissed. Went in, I said, I'm looking for a room. I'm looking for a room or 2 rooms. And they're like, we've only got 1 room left. I said, oh, that'll do. So I phoned them, and I'm like, right, we've got a room. So one of you just walk in as if you're ready, you're in there, booked in. And follow me, we'll go to the room. And the other ones, when we get to the room, we'll shout, we're lying here. So I go along to the room, phones them, like, right, you come in. The lassie come in, she's like, Laura, I'm low. She ends up in this big hall dining room behind a curtain. She's like, Laura, I can't find the room. Right? She's like, I'm in pitch darkness. In here she went, I don't know where am I. I'm trying to get her to go back to the room while the other ones are saying, where are you, where are you? I go back to the room, and I'm like, shouts on them, I'm like, I'm here. So they come along with their suitcases, we're lifting the suitcases in, try to pull them up by the arse of the trousers in the window. So we all get sent to the room. they're all steaming, we're all smoking. Back then you could smoke. We're all having a party, the guy comes along, chaps on the door. He's like, we have a few complaints. They're all diving under beds and all that. I'm supposed to be just in this room myself, right? And so that was one of the crazy nights and all. They ended up, they put us out. We're all back out sleeping in a motor. They come back about 3 times or something like that. I was like, no.
Whereabouts was that?
That was somewhere, I think that was Hull. We got about Cornwall, everywhere. What we would do is we would travel down and we'd just go into, we'd stay there for like maybe the weekend and we'd just travel to all different wee town centres. And then just work our way back up. Head all the way down and then just work our way back up. Sometimes we would actually like get the stuff shipped up the road. There was that much.
That's crazy. What kind of money are we talking?
Thousands and thousands and thousands.
Because you know yourself up here in Glasgow especially, they bite the hand off you.
Aye.
For designer stuff for half price. Or
see, it was like tinfoil bags. We'd make our tinfoil bags, but we also had
what was the point of the tinfoil? Was that for the alarms?
That soap to alarms going off. And then we would have our D-taggers. There was a shop that I went into, a big shop that actually gets shut down because we put it into liquidation. And the manager used to say, Laura, please, come on now, know the day. And I'm like, shut up. Unscrewing the D-tagger off the desk while he's standing there.
Oh, so you were using that to take the tags, obviously, in front of them?
Aye.
That's crazy.
We used to go in and just help ourselves. And there would be people that pull up outside and we would have this big transit van and people would pull up with their motors and they would gaze an order and we would just go in and take it out and put it in their motor. It was mental. I remember one time I actually went right through the door with a big electric Jeep for my wains, a big 2-seater with the seat belts and all that.
You're kidding me.
Right through. No?
Right into the van.
And the donkeys, the electric donkeys as well, we cleared all them out. Tellies. I'll tell you one that I done in lockdown. So my window swung opened. I told my followers this one. My window swung opened and smashed my brand new telly. So we're in lockdown and I was like, right, I went back down to the shop, bought another one, put the broken one in the box, sealed it all up, went down with the receipt, get my money back. So I get a brand new telly and my money back. Now I went, wait a minute, so I went on Gumtree and I bought all the smashed tellies. And every time I went in...
You're kidding me.
Every time I went in and bought a telly, I'd put the old one back in the box, seal it up, get my money back. Do you know I'd done that about 20 times? And it ended up, I was telling other people to do it, and they done it, and we were doing it. So it's now that shop that I can't mention doesn't sell tellies anymore now. And I thought to myself, I feel shite because some Wayne or somebody's going to open up, because they were just putting them back on the shelf. I went, somebody's going to wake up on Christmas Day. And see, even some of them, it was like a 55-inch or whatever, the big tellies. I was putting in the box the wee tellies and just stuffing it all in. Somebody's going to buy a 50-inch. And everybody was wondering why I was wanting to buy these broken tellies off of Gumtree. But that's what I done through COVID.
Just shows you different, any other mad scams.
To make a buck.
Listen, as you
Because
said,
we couldn't do anything else.
You need to I know a lot of people agree with it, but obviously people like myself coming from a rough housing scheme, I can only applaud you for it because you're not hurting anybody and it's big companies and they've got insurance.
Yeah.
That's only my opinion. Some people say, oh, it's wrong, we don't agree with it, it's crime.
But I kept on saying to myself, I'm going to go in there one day and buy a telly and I'm going to get one of these. And I'm going to go back and go, no, wait a minute here, and they're going to go, right,
it was you.
You come with us.
Aye. Did
You've
you
been
never
looking
get caught for that?
Never. So...
You're giving all your scams away.
Because during COVID, they couldn't, for reasons, obviously COVID, they couldn't open it up and check it. Right? And they would put it away in the store, and then they had to sit there for like X amount of days before they could actually put it out because the COVID.
That's so clever. Is there any other mad scams that you'd like to share?
I'll keep that for the next one.
You must have at least one more story for me there. Come on, Laura. You've told me a few anyway. Let me into those dark secrets.
Oh, God.
You've had that many incidents, that many mad stories. You told me a story, it was in Germany.
Yeah.
Just going along the highway.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I think there's like, you can go, like, the speed is no speed limit in Germany. Some, I don't know what that's all about. But so I'm in the motorway, the people that I'm away doing a till dipping with, and the driver, I didn't take drugs back then, so I was always straight. I don't take drugs now, but I was always straight, always had my wits about me, and they'd been taking stuff, and he was driving reckless. I think he was going about 140, and I'm terrified of fast cars, so he was my partner at the time, and I'm trying to tell him to slow down, slow down. He didn't slow down, so I grabs him by the hair and drags him back, so he's obviously slowed down at this point, and I've got out the motor and went round to get my stuff, and the other lassies jumped out as well, and he's coming, he's like, you're not going. I said, I am. He's obviously, there's a scuffle, so me being me, I take, when I go away, I've got everything by the kitchen sink, and my iron's there, and he wouldn't let me go, so I just went like that and lifted the iron, clonked him, knocked him out.
You're joking?
No, knocked him out. I was like, no.
Happened?
So me and the lassie gets to the airport, and they say the flight's not till the next morning, so we had to sleep on the chairs. So we're there about an hour in the middle of Germany, and I hears the voices coming through the airport, and I'm like, oh no, this is where I'm going to get a down. And I'm like, don't move, they're there. So they were that much high, they walked right by us, went to the desk, and obviously the one we'd explained to the woman what had happened, and they're asking if we've come in. She said no, and they've left again. And so we get on a flight in the morning, and that's when I decided I'm never going back there. On a flight, I think this wee thing held about 15 people. It's like a tin of beans. Getting through, I was like, I said, if it wasn't the driving last night, it was aeroplane. I said, like, listen, that's twice. 3 times as an honour. I says, my luck's running out here. I thought we were going to die in that plane.
Where were you flying back to? Glasgow?
Aye, back to Glasgow. With my diamond chains and all that. And
Did you have the loot?
aye.
That's madness.
Had all the money and the diamond rings and the chains. And
it just shows you that even abroad, getting away with that sort of stuff.
see, when I think back now, how I put myself in that danger, I've never survived in a jail abroad. But when you're young, you're stupid. But I think back to, I'm like, wow. And me having my 5 kids was a godsend. Although I did dip in and out, I knew, shoplifting, what is it? I'm going to get a couple of months here, there. But if I'd have got caught abroad, I'd have been away for a long, long
Could
time.
have been a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't really have anything against it, because a lot of people turn to different crime where they're hurting people, where it's violent, or it's...
Mine's was, I've got a very addictive personality. So see, when I train. When I was shoplifting, it was like, it was my addictive personality coming out. So I blame that. Because it wasn't, some of the times it wasn't for needing it. It was
The buzz.
And being addicted to that feeling.
I can relate to that as well, because I've also got an addictive personality, and I've kind of trained my brain to be addicted to the better things in life.
Aye, same
But
as me.
before, it was the drugs, the chaos, the drink and bad behaviour. But it's difficult to change that. But as you said, once you're...
Because mine's wasn't, I get it that people do things, right, and they're doing it because they maybe get a drug habit and all that. I never had anything of that, and people might look down at their nose and go, I mean, she done it for the money. But I done it to give me and my kids a lifestyle that I was used to living, because I had a good upbringing when I was a child, had everything I wanted, and then I was always like, I need to keep that up for my wins.
So you were 5 years single,
Mm-hmm.
and you started your training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Your mental health starting to improve.
Aye.
Obviously, you were looking good physically.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, you're starting to get better. And then, sure, you told me it was lockdown. You met someone else,
Aye, well, I was working as a door steward,
right?
and that's where I met my last partner. And I think it was like 2 weeks or something like that. I'd been seeing him, moved into lockdown, and that was it. He'd moved in, couldn't get rid of him. So
You didn't marry him, did you?
no, I was about to marry him. I paid for the full wedding, get the wedding dress still in the house in my wardrobe, all the dresses, flower girls, the lot.
So how long did that relationship last?
3 years.
3 years?
I don't seem to be getting by the 3 year stage, you know.
Maybe you're better just being yourself for a wee while, you know. But I'm sure when you start working on yourself as you have been, I mean, you're in tremendous shape, physically, mentally, then I'm sure the right person will come along one day. You know what I mean? You never know, as long as you stay off the dating websites and stuff like that. But during lockdown, right, you were still obviously in that relationship.
Yeah.
When did the TikTok come then? Because we know you're a bit of a TikTok star. Everybody knows Big Olly Ching Ching.
The TikTok came once I fell out with him. And I went through 10 months. I was like in a depression again. Because obviously I was supposed to be getting married and things like that. So I cancelled that. But we'd come out of the lockdown with him. And I thought, right, we've got an apprentice here, I could use him. And I started taking him out shoplifting with me, and he's like, wow. He's like, wow. He's never had so many pair of trainers in his life, and all his Nike outfits, he was loving it. So,
what shops were you hitting?
Sports shops, any kind of shop.
It's kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde story, isn't it, of Glasgow?
Yeah.
But,
he'd never done anything like that in his life before. His artist opened up my eyes. He ended up becoming a kleptomaniac and all. He was going like that to me every morning, right? Have you gone? And I'm like, ah.
That's crazy. But how long was that? I know you're saying it lasted 3 years. Was there any happy times in that relationship before it turned? Did that turn violent or anything?
No.
No?
No. No, it didn't. It was just... see, I think when I get with guys, they like the way I'm bubbly, outgoing and all the rest of it, and then when they're with me, they feel, right, we need to take that away from you. So when I was with him, he didn't like the attention that I was getting working in the doors. Didn't like the attention that I was getting when I was training in the gym. So he stopped me from working, he stopped me from training, and he became an actual control freak, I know.
It's crazy. But you seem such a strong person now.
Aye.
And I know when you do get into another relationship, that will never happen again, because you'll never let that anybody
never
do
ever.
that to you.
No.
You've got such a, as I say, a strong presence, confident, you're looking good for 42.
Aye.
And you come across well. And like we say, you're really well known now.
Aye.
So take me into the TikTok then. Why did it start again?
My wee boy suffers badly for autism. He doesn't like leaving the house. So just a stupid wee video with the Wayne one night, lying in our bed, and then I started to do impersonations. Like Katie Price, and other TikTokers that didn't go down too well. It was funny at the beginning, and then it took a nosedive with the ones that didn't like it.
Can I ask you, we might need to cut this, right? But we might know, we might keep it in. Can I ask you, who was the people we might know at high profile, or anybody that you were impersonating?
D. Maxwell.
So you were impersonating D?
Aye.
He's having a wee bit of a feud?
Aye, she was coming for me. But I was ready for her.
So that's actually a funny story. So the two of you hadn't met or anything? It was
No.
just like an online thing?
Aye.
So
I used to watch her all the time on Facebook. Thought she was funny as fuck. Loved her. And I went, I'm going to do an impersonation of her. It didn't go down too well.
And you ended up like kind of like TikTok rivals and stuff like that?
Aye, we're pals now.
I know that because Dee had me on doing an opening act down at Greenock.
Yeah.
And you were there in the audience, and she actually shouted you down to the stage.
That's right.
Was that the first time you met in person?
Aye. Yeah.
That was special because that was a special night.
Aye.
My performance was standing ovation, Laura, wasn't it? They're all saying you were the best. No, I don't say that to Dee. But that was powerful at the end.
Yeah.
The music came on and then you came down and the two of you had that wee moment. I didn't know that was the first time you met.
Aye.
And now you're friends now.
Yeah.
So
She's
that's
a
it.
lovely lassie, so she is.
No, I've got a lot of time for Dee. She really helped me out. It was always my dream to go in and stage and perform, and she just says, here, and gifted it to me. You know, and it was terrifying, but also liberating as well. I'm sure I'll maybe be on her card one day in the future, as long as you stop impersonating her.
I know.
Can you do an impersonation here?
No off the cuff, no.
We'll skip by there then.
Aye.
Right? We'll get Dee to watch this. Is there anybody else that you impersonated that I might know?
Wee Les. I don't think you know. I don't think you know her, Wee Les, and I'm trying to think who else. No, I can't really. Just Katie Price. I was doing ones of Katie Price, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're a spitting image."
I need to see these now.
Have you not seen them? No.
No, but see when you started getting really popular
Aye.
and it started to grow, did you think it was going to go that way?
No.
Because it went massive.
Mhm.
You're now generating millions of views
Aye.
on different platforms. And you're doing a lot of lives, but you're also helping a lot of people. You do a lot of work.
Aye, I've raised money for the homeless. Done a big sleep out for the homeless. And raised money for a wee girl called Abby, who's got 130 chromosomes. Her mum's name's Ashley. Raised money for her. I raised money for my friend who's got stage 4 cancer. I've done charity all my life, do you know, for like Marie Curie, York Hill. So that's basically one of the things that I wanted to do.
Kind of like Robin Hood, didn't you?
Aye.
Steal for the designer stores and give to the poor. Can only respect that.
Exactly.
But there's other things there that you've been involved in, not just the good work that you're doing with the charity stuff. Been involved quite high profile stuff like Big Olly House.
Aye.
Come Dine With Me. These things. Can you talk me through them?
Well, I done a Come Dine With Me on TikTok. That was amazing with some of the other TikTokers. Then we rented a big house down in Newcastle. That was with other TikTokers down there as well. Went live for the full weekend. And the feedback we got for it was amazing. So that's why I'm going to go into this big one on TikTok. It's with English.
Is this the Big Brother house?
Aye. I called mine the Big Olly House. This one's called TikTok Big Brother. And it's all the English. I'm up against big creators.
So it's all the stars of TikTok, really?
Aye.
Big profiles.
Yeah.
Are you the only Scottish?
Aye.
And was there like an interview process to get in?
Yeah.
I got knocked back.
I was the third one to be picked. I was totally shocked when they called out my name. I was like, what? Because there is bigger people than me on TikTok. I've only been on it 2 years. People have been on it 4 and 5 years, longer. So I was taken.
But I think you need to have like a standout personality, character.
Well, I think it was actually these that done it for me.
What was that?
So they came in
Don't
Honda.
start all that in here. I've had enough of them people in here. Right, we're not doing it. I'd rather have the gangsters. But again, because you look so good and you come across well, you've got character and you bring a good audience. So that'll be an interesting watch. When is that happening?
January. Aye, so I'm looking forward
and
to
how
that.
long's it for?
A week. It's going to be running 24/7, so It's a pay-per-view as well.
Right.
So
you're staying in it. So is it going to kind of be like the same rules? Like people get voted out?
aye, yep. Eating challenges or different things.
Must be mad.
I'm taking in. You can take in your own stuff as well to like prank people. So I'm taking in Viagra and things like that.
Sorry?
Aye. Just so that when I'm in there, the doors are always opened for me. Do you know what I mean? Without
Just
having
as
to
well,
touch
I
the
get a
door
knockback
panels.
for there, by the way.
Somewhere I've got to hang my clothes up.
I'm honestly, I don't even know if I want to ask you any more questions on that. How many people are going to be in it to start with?
12.
Is it 6 and 6? Male, female?
Yeah.
Do you know any other guests that are going in?
DJ Decor, Dave Duran, we've got James Zeno, Jay, Rebecca C. Aye, there's quite a few that I've got my eye on already.
What about just being yourself for a wee while? Do you know what I mean? We can meditate on it, right? Because you end up with another nutcase.
I know.
You must attract them.
I do.
But so, on a more serious note then, right? So, how is your mental health now? Because I know, obviously, with your life, there's been struggles there. Are you in a good place?
I and no, because along with doing TikTok comes the drama. So you've got to be thick-skinned for being on that platform. People make up lies about you. And I'm quite a feisty wee person, so I'm having to learn to hold back on there. I'm only human, so sometimes I do have an outburst. And then I'm like, right, rein yourself back in, Laura, because you end up looking like them, maybe worse. And it's a lot of pressure having to put up with that every single day.
No, I can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
I just try and ignore the negative comments, but it also builds the channel.
I know.
So
They're promoting me. See, when they're putting pictures of me up, being wrinkly and crinkly, and they call me Robocop, they call me Hulk Hogan. I love it. I share their videos.
it's good because like the best response sometimes is no response, but
Exactly.
also if you just send love out to them.
Aye.
Because there'll always be people there, especially TikTok, that can be toxic.
Yeah.
But it gets some reach.
Aye.
So you're inspiring people and also even when you told me many stories, but when you're meeting people in the streets,
Aye.
people are coming up and they're excited to see you because they're watching all your stuff, and so you get a lot of love and all.
Aye. Well, I think my days of shoplifting are over, because when I go into shops, like even the managers will go, "Oh, big Olly ching ching," and I'm like, "Ah, shit, I was going to steal that jacket."
Your days of shoplifting are done, Laura. We need to
I
take me
don't know.
away
I've
one
got
day.
about 30 wigs in the house for when I was doing all my impersonations. So never say never.
I need to see this D Maxwell impersonation. She'll kill me, but I think it would be a classic.
I had to stuff socks and all that doing my leggings to do the. Have you seen her calf?
Aye,
She's got some calf on her.
'cause
I'm
she does the
telling you.
kickboxing and
Aye.
stuff like that.
And I was like, and then
That's
one
brilliant.
of the videos as well, I'm like, it just so happened that my next door neighbour, his dog barked at the same time, and it sounded like a parrot. And I'm in the video doing the video, and I hear saying, I went, you going to? And I done a D Maxwell impersonation where she shouts at her parrot,
That's right.
and it just fitted in lovely at the time. And then after it, and I was like, fuck's sake, I went, that was
Did
spot on.
do any impersonations of you to retaliate?
No, I've told her to, but I've
Right.
told her to do one.
I need to see that.
Right.
But no, it's good that he's our friends now.
Yeah.
So moving on, right, towards the end of the story, before we finish up on this episode, if there's another message that you can send out to the audience watching, now is the time.
Can I think of any messages? Anybody get any spare change line about? Because I don't want to be going back at shoplifting again. I'm fucking skinned. And I'm looking for people to promote. And aye, no, I'm kidding on. I'm actually doing well on the TikTok.
No, you've got a massive platform there. Like I said, there's many opportunities for you.
Aye.
You don't need to go back.
Things are starting to come forward now for me. So
no, and it's well deserved as well, because you're a good soul. Do you know what I mean? And even though you've done all the wee things in the past, it wasn't the worst crimes in the world.
exactly, and that's what I said. I wouldn't change my life. I wouldn't say that I was a bad person. I done what I had to do at that time, and it was for me and my kids. And the way I look at it is, if I was struggling again to provide for my wains, I would do it all over again.
Of course,
People might think that's wrong, but we get robbed every day in life after the government, right? They rob us. I looked at it as if these are big shops. They claim it back in insurance, plus the fact everything that they sell is going up and up and up. And I just thought to myself, I'm not paying for that. I'm taking that over nothing.
I'm going to go shopping with you one day. You know? That'll be hilarious.
Aye.
Oh, but good on you, Laura. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish up? Maybe a message to an individual or anything at all? You're speaking to your audience, because I know it's quite a massive platform you've got there.
I want to say to the lady that our wee girl that I raised money for, Ashley, she came off TikTok because she got trolled for me raising money for her wee girl, and her wee girl's probably not going to live long, and she's disappeared off the app for getting bullied, and I would like to be in contact with her again, because I've lost all contact with her, and to go and see that wee girl that she says I could meet one day. So if she watches this, get in contact with me.
Beautiful message, Laura. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Brilliant.
You're a big character. Shake my hand, please.
Oh.
And I wish you well for the future, right?
Hopefully we can do it again, because there's plenty more stories.
Oh, there's plenty of stories there, Laura.
Plenty.
No, but thanks again for coming on.
It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.